Well, here's a big question the entire world is asking. Middle East power shift, is it? Well, US President Mr. Donald Trump is under pressure. Arab allies are uneasy, China is quietly stepping in. Is a big global realignment already underway? So let's decode this in a very simple and a powerful way. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole situation around the Strait of Hormuz, it has turned into a high-stakes global drama. This narrow sea passage, it carries nearly 20% of the global oil supply. So when tensions rise here, the entire world feels the impact, from fuel prices to stock market. Now here's where things are getting more interesting. Under the US President, Mr. Donald Trump, well, America has taken an aggressive stand in the whole region, specifically involving Iran. Military pressure and strategic blockades, they have created a lot of uncertainty in the Gulf. But this strategy, it is now causing discomfort among America's traditional Arab partners. In fact, countries like the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, they have long relied on the US for their security. In return, they stayed aligned with Washington's policies, be it anything, politically, economically, and even militarily. But now cracks are beginning to show. The UAE has started signaling that it may reduce its dependence on the US dollar for trade. And wait, that's a big deal. Why? Because the dollar has been backbone of global oil trade for decades now. Any move away from it hints at a deeper shift. One where countries, they want more control and less dependency on Washington. At the very same time, Saudi Arabia's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, he is exploring stronger ties with China. This is not just about trade, it is about strategy. And then enters the king, Xi Jinping. China is positioning itself as a stabilizing force in the region. Unlike the US, which is directly involved in the military tension, China is pushing diplomacy. In fact, in recent high-level talks, Xi emphasized one message very carefully, that keep the Strait of Hormuz open and avoid escalation. He has also supported efforts towards a ceasefire between the US and Iran here. This particular approach, it is appealing to the Gulf nation. Why? Because their biggest fear right now is instability. War or prolonged conflict in the region, it directly threatens their economy, specifically oil exports. And if their economic interests, they are at risk, they are willing to rethink alliances here. Now, another layer to this story is money. Arab nations are now increasingly vocal about economic cost of the ongoing tension. Well, there's growing pressure on the US to compensate for losses that are caused by disruption. Whether it's oil shipment delays, whether it is security costs, whether it is market instability. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are seeing, it is not a political shift anymore, it's a strategic recalculation. The United States, it still remains a powerful ally, no doubt. Its military presence in the Gulf is unmatched. But for the very first time in decades, the partners are openly exploring alternatives. Now, China, on the other hand, by the way, is offering something very different. Economic partnership, infrastructure investment, and a non-interventionist approach to the politics. And that combination is becoming increasingly attractive. But is this a complete side switch? No, not yet. Gulf countries are not abandoning the United States overnight. They cannot do that. Instead, they are diversifying, building relationship with both Washington and Beijing to maximize their advantage and reduce the risk. In the end, let me conclude this for you. This is a moment of transition. The balance of power in the Middle East is slowly shifting. The US is no longer the only dominant player here, and China is steadily expanding its influence. Not through war, but through diplomacy, through economics. And for the countries in the Gulf, the message is clear. In a changing world, loyalty is being replaced by strategy.